This is a massive blow to the racism they try to use to divide us. This is a massive blow to bring a new world that is really possible. Democracy in politics, democracy in economy, democracy in the society. That way, I think we are on the way to changing the world. Masal al-Hayf, shukran. I'm very surprised to be speaking here not as an observer of the Arab revolutions, but also as a participant in a new movement across Spain. I don't have much time, so if I can't finish, I'm here from Barcelona. Olga has been participating in the movement in Madrid. We're here for the weekend, so speak to us. Last Friday in Barcelona, the police attacked our Tahrir Square in the center of Barcelona. That night we had 200 people sleeping there. They attacked at 7 in the morning. They wanted to clean the square. They wanted to destroy the camp. Within an hour, we had 1,000 people outside the police blockade, trying to stop the cleaning lorries. We spoke to the cleaning workers, trying to get them to not do the job. They were too frightened to refuse to do the job. They didn't want to work for the police, they didn't want to do that, but they were too frightened to refuse. The police cleared the way with sticks, with plastic bullets. They injured 130 of us. I still have damage on my leg as a result. They thought they could destroy the Barcelona Tahrir. They were wrong. At 1 o'clock, the police left, the people went back in. That evening, we had 25,000 people in that square. I'll try and explain very briefly where this movement comes from. The most immediate thing was 3 weeks ago, not even 3 weeks ago, the 15th of March, there were demonstrations for real democracy organized by Facebook, and it grew all over Spain. In Madrid and Barcelona, we had tens of thousands, but there were, I don't know, 50 or 100 other cities where there were movements. In Madrid and Barcelona, spontaneously at the end of those demonstrations, people organized the camp, Tahrir, literally in the center of Madrid and the center of Barcelona. This was something surprising for us as well as for the government, but it spread to now, I think, about 120 cities across Spain, and to Paris. There is 1,500 people were attacked by the police last Sunday in Bastille Square, and there are tens of thousands of people in Sintagma in Athens. It's spreading from the center of the cities to the neighborhoods. In the last week in Madrid, they've had, I don't know, 50 or 100 assemblies in the local working class areas, with maybe 20,000 people participating in those meetings. What are they talking about? Who are these people? There are old activists, like I've been an activist for a certain length of time, the young old activists, and also new people, people of 50 who've never been involved in radical politics before. There's creativity in those camps. I'd seen the photos and the reports of Tahrir, and now I've got this Tahrir at the end of my street, and it's really incredible. It's a learning process. People are against the lack of democracy, the lack of real democracy, because if we had democracy, I don't think the police could attack 120 of us in the street. But they're also against the cuts in public services, the cuts in pay, the cuts in pensions, against the corruption. They just had enough of this system. Within the movement, there's a bit of everything. I'm not here as a representative of that movement because there's no one person could represent all that movement. Within the camps, there are people who think the new world is the camp. We just build the camp and live there. That's one view. Another view is that, well, we demand that they change the electoral system, and the demands, some of them are fine, but the result would be the electoral system they have in Germany, or the electoral system they have in America, which I would say has limitations. In Barcelona is where possibly the nuance have gone furthest to say we need political democracy, we need democracy in the workplace, we need democracy in the economy, we need democracy in society as a whole, not just an X on a piece of paper every 4 years. This movement, particularly in Barcelona, comes from 10 years of the growth of the anti-capitalist movement after Seattle. In 2003, across Spain there were 5 million people against the war in Iraq, the 15th of February. A quarter of those people were in my city, approximately the equivalent of the population of that city. With the new Zapatero government, they withdrew troops from Iraq, they sent more troops to Afghanistan, they did some social policies, but then the cuts, and particularly in Catalonia, whereas Barcelona, a few months ago they decided to make 10% cuts in health, 10% cuts in education. Those workers have been struggling for weeks and weeks. Health workers, every Wednesday lunchtime, block the main road near their hospital. Some of those are motorways. They walk out, hundreds of health workers with their white jackets, and they stop the traffic for half an hour. You listen to the traffic reports in Barcelona, and it's a report of which hospitals are blocking the roads in the morning. The 14th of May, the day before the democracy demonstration, there was a demonstration against the public health service cuts in Barcelona. Between 50,000 and 100,000 people were on that demonstration. So because of all that history, now the Barcelona camp has organized workers come to that. The health workers participate. The education workers and the students had a big protest last week against the cuts in the universities. And they, instead of going from that square down to the government square, they started from the government square and they ended in our Tahrir, Plaza Catalunya, and they had an assembly of maybe 3,000 or 4,000 people about the cuts and how to fight back. We have a general assembly every night. There's a general assembly in that square. Where are we going? Is this the Catalan Revolution, the Spanish Revolution? We can't say. We know there's a crisis. And with the crisis, the government and the racists try to divide us. The good news is we have the camp, but the bad news in Catalonia, the fact we had elections 2 weeks ago. The fascists, the far-right Islamophobic party, grew by 5 times. They're still a minority, they have 2.5%, but they grew dangerously. Last Friday night, after being hit in the morning, I wasn't one of those 25,000 people in the Tahrir. I was in a small town 50 kilometers from Barcelona. They'd had 2 racist, fascist attacks the previous week. The leader of this party, a politician with a suit, physically attacked a young girl with a metal bar, and he followed one of our comrades home, a 60-year-old man. He followed him to his home and attacked him. This is democratic Spain today. A fascist party can do that, and it's legal. The friends and comrades in that town organized a broad, solid anti-fascist movement that we now have across Catalonia. They had a demonstration of 1,500 people in a small town a long way from Barcelona. In that demonstration we had many Muslim people, many Christian people, many communists, many atheists. I was next to a group of 10 young women with hijab. And halfway through the demonstration we were shouting, "Ashab Yurid Iskat al-Nitham," in this small town outside Barcelona. So, in Europe, where country after country, not only the fascists, but also the democratic governments are trying to bring the blame on the Muslims, on the immigrants. I think if in towns across Spain and now across Europe, people are saying, we are Tahrir, we follow our Egyptian brothers and sisters, we follow our Tunisian brothers and sisters, we support the Arab Revolution. This is a massive blow to the racism they try to use to divide us. This is a massive blow to bring a new world that is really possible. Democracy in politics, democracy in economy, democracy in the society. That way, I think we are on the way to changing the world. Thank you, Egypt. Thank you, Tunis. Thank you, comrades, brothers and sisters.